Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope Allah will give us the grace of Taufiq wal Hidayah, brother and sister. I'm happy to be able to meet with the participants of this conference to share knowledge and experiences about Islamic mental health in prison. Let me give my presentation. The title is The Impact of Involvement in Religious Guidance and Spiritual Transformation on Psychological Well-Being of Prisoners. My material is compiled based on qualitative study report conducted at the Correctional Institution, Semarang, Indonesia. I'm a lecturer and researcher at Correctional Science Polytechnic. Previously, I worked as psychologist in a correctional institution. Brother and sister, Sykes said that the existence of prisoner in the correctional facility causes the pain of imprisonment. The pain causes the suffering of five loss. First, the deprivation of liberty, suffering caused by loss of freedom, limited and narrow space in prison. And the second, deprivation of goods and services. Prisoners are not free to own personal items and receive services according to their wishes. Third, the deprivation of heterosexual relationship. Prisoners have loss of opportunity to fulfill sexual desire toward spouse, their husband or wife. The next, the deprivation of autonomy. The suffering results from loss of self-control and strict adherence to strict laws and very little choice of activity. And the last, deprivation of security. Loss of security that creates worry and anxiety facing potential threats from other prisoners, such as riots, persecution, etc. Brother and sister, the condition of the inmates under sentences creates psychological problems. Deprivation in prison triggers stress and various mental health problems, such as emotional stress and traumatic experiences. Stress can result from negative treatment of another inmates and prison officials. There are various forms of psychological disorder of prisoner, as is the case with some prison, that some prisoner attempt suicide, depression, and schizophrenic disorder caused by intense feelings of guilt, shame, and frustration. In addition, some prisoners associate with more experienced recidivism and criminals. Prisoners can learn new criminal techniques and form new criminal groups when they are free. That condition causes the potential for recidivism to be higher. The life pressures of prisoner is very high. Every prisoner faces the challenge of being able to have the psychological well-being in prison. Based on data Directorate General of Pemasyarakatan in 2020, the number of prisoners in Indonesia exceeds the capacity of prison. The excess reaches 99%. So, the isolation of prisoner creates vulnerability to deteriorating mental health of prisoners. Based on our observation, we saw several Muslim prisoners who took part in Islamic religious guidance activities showing calm. They are active and seem to enjoy daily life more comfortably than other prisoners. Thus, we explore that phenomenon through research. Our study shows that there are several Islamic religious guidance activities that prisoners participate in voluntarily for 45 days. Guidance activities are carried out every day on a schedule from morning to evening and cooperate with Islamic organization that activities such as prayer 5 times in congregation in mosque and detention rooms and learn to practice worship such as ablution and prayer, memorizing surah of the Quran and reciting the Quran, listening to religious lecturers, Islamic counseling from ustaz about Tawhid, Akhlaq, the profile of Prophet Muhammad, worship, and other Islamic topics. They make event to celebrate important Islamic religious day such as Idul Adha, Idul Fitri, Isra Mi'raj, the Prophet Muhammad birthday, and these events involve correctional officers and Muslim brother from outside the prison. The in Islamic guided activities, prisoner do collective zikr. They do tasbih, tahmid, takbir, and tahlil activities, pray led by an imam. How can Islamic guidance become a source of spiritual transformation? Based on our study with six prisoner informants, we found that prisoners experienced change in their interpretation of life. They had goals and focus based on Islamic teaching. Some of the statements of their spiritual state are life is blessed, useful, and life is worship. Thus, inmates who experience spiritual transformation, they express personal feeling such as feeling calmer in prison, different when they first enter to do not follow the guidance of Islam. They are more patient with positively and act carefully. In addition, they have internal motivation to increase religious knowledge and capacity and share with other inmates. Next important finding, the prisoner answer describe the good psychological well-being condition. Prisoner believe that they are meaningful and have a purpose, organize their emotion and social behavior better. They feel their time in prison more productively and have a quality life. As they said, after getting involved in Islamic guidance activities, I got the benefit of the heart to feel calmer, able to think positively and clearly. Another prisoner said, the most memorable things in life after following the guidance, Alhamdulillah. At first I couldn't read Quran. Now I can and become a teacher to read Quran for other people. Brother and sister, based on our finding of this preliminary study, we recommend to prison leader that the rehabilitation program with Islamic guidance will have a positive impact on the psychological change of prisoner. In other explanation, the intensive Islamic religious guidance program can influence spiritual transformation as an important psychological resource for the mental health and good adjustment of prisoner while in prison. Brother and sister, that's my presentation. Hopefully, this is useful for all my brother and sister. Truth belongs only to Allah Almighty. Allah give hidayah to whom He wills. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.